This is the next in my long-running series of how to keep one of these ice makers alive. The symptoms I've been having lately have been that the fingers that are supposed to come down and push the ice out and through have been stalling. Instead of pushing the ice out properly, they've been reaching a certain point and then just stopping, getting buried in the ice and not going any further. And I thought it might be the thermostat or it might be the motor, but I ended up figuring out that it was the some of the copper contacts in here that were dirty and probably a little bit weak. So I'll just show you how to fix that. I'm not going to go into any great detail here about how to get the control unit out of here because there's lots of other videos, but basically first turn the power off, because immediately behind here there's mains electricity. You take this white cover off. You might need to take a sort of plastic pin out of a hole in the side here, just flick it out with a screwdriver, and then you just take that cover off, and then you take out that screw, and that screw. I'm not going to do it live on camera because it's pretty obvious, and I've only got one hand to hold the camera. You could actually do this whole thing leaving the unit in here just by taking this wheel off and cleaning the contacts in behind here, but I'm going to do a slightly more thorough job and take the unit out. One thing to clarify, if you are taking this out, you don't need to take out the whole black unit here, which involves undoing these two screws. You just need this front part here, which just comes out like that. So here's the unit out on the bench. Before you pull anything apart, just notice that, at least on mine, when it's in its parked position, which it almost certainly was when you took it out, at least on mine, the word rotate lines up with this corner here on the top left of the unit, and there's a slot down there which lines up on about the bottom right. And on the back side of it, just notice the position of this hook. It can go in two ways around. It can either have the hook down here, down to the bottom left, or up in the bottom top right. It needs to be down the bottom left. And if you're going to do this cleaning thoroughly, then you'll be wanting to take this piece and this piece out. They just pull out, but just notice there is a spring, and it has a short arm which goes down there and pushes up against that plastic thing down there, and it has a longer arm which goes up there and rests against a pin on this arm. So just notice the position of everything before you pull it apart. Now, the main thing you need to clean is the contacts on the back of this. This just pulls off. Mine comes off easily, probably because I've pulled it off a few times. Now this has already been cleaned, but see on the back there's tracks here. These tracks on mine, before I clean them up, were very burnt and dirty, and I cleaned them up with some emery cloth, and they're now all shiny. To do a really thorough job, and I'm not going to bother, but because I've already done it, but there is a switch in behind here, and that was very blackened and dirty on mine before I cleaned it up. If you just pull this out, you may need to squeeze together with some long nose pliers that split pin and that split pin to do it, but then you can then just pull this out, pull that out. That then gives you access in behind here to the switch, and you just clean those contacts up with some emery paper or emery cloth. And then the final thing, which I didn't initially do but I've now discovered was important, is these contacts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are springy contacts that connect onto this, and on mine they were over the years they'd presumably lost a bit of their springiness, and so they were sitting down a bit too far and not pressing hard enough on the contactor. So I just got each of them and just bent them up a little bit just to give them better contact, and that's all there is to it. And you just pop this back on and then it's ready to go again. Putting it back in is easy. You just slot it back in and then put these 3 screws in. The only difficulty you may have is that the finger arm, the central arm in behind here, you may need to move that around a bit until it lines up to slot back into here, and you also need to fiddle around a bit to put this arm back in so that it slots back into the other side of that hole there. But apart from that, it's very straightforward, and then the cover just goes back on and you're done.